Okay, we're recording.
We're good. So hi guys. This is Em. Em and I, the one that waved. Em and I know each other from past business ventures that we were on together. I joined Lavelle probably. When did you join?
At the end of this month, it's my 5th month. So it was at the very end of September, I want to say.
So I was a month and a half after you. So I came in a month and a half after she did. And she went 80K in 3 months. Okay, now you're bragging. She went 80K in 2 months. So I asked her to get on to share with you guys. I got the questions everybody asked. And then I'll ask her those. But is there anything that you want to share first, Em?
No, I mean, I'm happy just for you to hit me with your questions. Like she said,
Okay.
This will be the end of my 5th month, like I shared. It has been crazy, incredible, but I'm just excited to pour into you guys to hear. I think it's good to hear from different people, different perspectives. Forewarning, I am very red, so I'm very in your face, and I'm very honest, but I think that's also what has been super successful with my team, is that we are just so on fire with momentum. So I really want to pour that into you guys. Whatever questions you have, I always say no question is stupid. I'm a completely open book. So Katie, if you just want to start hitting me with those questions, and we can bounce back, and you can use the chat if you have anything else you want to ask me, like outside of what she's saying.
Okay. So we'll jump right in with the questions that they had. So the first one was how do you make new Facebook friends? Because your Facebook is like always lit up. So how do you make new Facebook friends?
Okay, so I mean, I've been building my network on Facebook probably a year and a half now. When I started network marketing, I was super heavy on Instagram and kind of transitioned it to Facebook. And prior, I was, adding from groups I was in, or pages I was in, or people that I had mutual friends with. And now, I don't know, like everyone's story on here. I know some of us have made the transition from another company. So for me, that's my story now, is that I was in another MLM and now I'm here. So when I add people, a lot of it is other people in MLMs, and it's in no way a means of like trying to cross recruit them. It's just who's going to relate to me. It's people in MLMs. So, whether they love their company, whether they're unhappy with their company, whether they just become my customer, those are the kind of people that I find. So a lot of it is from suggested friends list, which before I stayed completely out of because it's like an MLM cesspool. So, it's just full of people from MLMs. But now I utilize that a lot, and just exploring through my friends. I do a lot of live videos, and when I do them, I always have people share them. So a lot of times people will follow me from seeing my video, and I'll make sure whoever follows me, I go and friend. And I kind of just do it through mutual friends, who's interacting, who's on their posts and stuff. So it's through a lot of friends and through my suggested friends list. I'd say that's where I do the most of it. And then a lot of it's from keeping my page public. And doing my live videos, and then doing like my real talk stuff where like I can be super sassy and people like appeal to it because I have no filter. So when you kind of get your own brand with it and people can attract to you, it kind of leads more people your way, I think, when it's public.
Now, do you work your Instagram in the same way that you work your Facebook? I mean, I know Instagram is different with like following and everything, but like post wise, I see more of your posts on Facebook, even though we are following each other on Instagram. I am mostly Facebook. I try to dabble with Instagram, but I know you're also on there too. So do you have like a set schedule for Instagram, or do you just kind of wing it with that?
I kind of wing it, which might not sound helpful. I think that the algorithm on Instagram sucks. I think it's horrible. And so if I make a post on Facebook that's like a picture, because I'll do a lot of just like status posts on Facebook that have no pictures, but if it's something that has a picture, I will go and share the same thing to Instagram. But it's not as like, I don't want to say like planned out, because I don't plan on my Facebook either, but it's not as much. I post maybe one time a day on Instagram. I don't even think I did today, but I use the heck out of Insta stories. So for me, that's kind of my outlet to show people my day and show people me doing my 3-step or whatever I'm doing, rather than posting. Because I feel like even when I post, it's really hard because of the algorithm for a lot of people to see it or read the caption. So I would say mainly it's Insta stories on Instagram, and then Facebook is like my main hub. And even when I get interest on Instagram, like if somebody DMs me and they're like, hey, what do you do? Or, hey, I had a question about that black thing on your arm, whatever they may message me, I bring them directly to Facebook. And I'm like, hey, do you have a Facebook? Message me on there so we can chat, just because I feel like I have more content on my Facebook and there's more of me. So it's easier for them to kind of get to know me. So I always pull from Instagram to Facebook too. And that's one of my IPs every day is that I try to convert like 2 to 3 people from Instagram to Facebook. So Instagram, I wing it. It's a lot more on Facebook for me.
Okay, that makes me feel not so bad about winging it on Instagram because that's what I did. I was like, she's going to have some big, like, strategic thing, and all I do is, like, wing it. Okay, well, that makes me happy. So your team is huge. Obviously, it's grown really, really fast. How do you seal the deal with your potential promoters?
With potential promoters. Okay, so this has changed a ton. I don't want to say that you might hate me for saying this. I don't want to say that I don't follow up, but I don't put as much stress on following up as I used to, because I used to be that person that without fail, I was in your inbox every single Friday. Every single Friday. And like I go back to messages and I like literally want to throw up on myself for like how many times I message somebody. So for me, you know, if somebody shows interest, not to say that I forget about them if they don't sign up right there, because I don't. I keep their relationship. I stay on their pages. I stay interacting with them. But I kind of have learned that with this opportunity and the comp plan and how confident I am in it, I don't feel the need to like badger people to join. Like I really truly let them do it in their own time. So I will stay in conversations with them and I will be their friend. And I think that's mainly how I seal the deal, where even if they're like, hey, I'm interested, you know, can I have info? And let's say like I tag them in a previous opportunity event, or I voice message them some info on the business. And they're like, oh, okay, thank you. And they don't really like say anything. I think that it's my friendship with them and the relationship that continues is what seals the deal, where they continue to feel comfortable. And I believe that with potentials, it's kind of, you have to keep posting and keep talking. And then you say that one thing that like clicks with them and they're like, oh, I get that. And that's when they sign up. Like they're waiting for that one post or that one live or just a certain word to come out of your mouth that kind of clicks with them and makes them sign up. So for potential promoters, it's not as heavy as following up. It's building that relationship, just truly staying their friend. Is what helps me the most with it. And then just making sure that every single day I'm active on my Facebook, whether it's going live or posting, just to make sure that they're consistently seeing me. And that does also help when you pull them from Instagram to Facebook, because they're seeing me on 2 different platforms, which is huge. But with customers, do you want me to touch on customers for sealing the deal?
Yeah.
Because with customers, it's a little different. With that, I'm a little more like, it's 1, 2, 3, boom, you're signing up. I do a ton of sampling. That is the bread and butter of my business. And I would say I probably sign 75% of 80 of samples, simply because I create the urgency and I have such confidence in the product that.
Now, how do you get out 3-day minis? Because I see your Facebook and I do see you go live sometimes, like when you get yours and Travis's stuff in the mail. Yeah. But is that where you sell your minis, is from those live videos when you're like opening your mail? Because I don't see you post a lot about, you know, I'm sending out minis or I'm sending out samples, that kind of stuff. I don't really see that much from your page. So how do you get your samples out?
So in the beginning, when I first started, like I could make a sample post and get like 40 comments like that, because, you know, my network hadn't been exposed to it yet. So they were like, oh, what is this? It's new. What is she doing? Type of thing. And then as I kind of went on, not that they were like crickets on posts, but I didn't get as many people commenting with samples. So I kind of did slow down with my sample posting. And when I slowed down with that, I noticed that I wasn't signing as many customers, because for me, like I said, that's the bread and butter for me, is getting them on samples and sealing the deal. So I kind of had to like alter it, where I'll still put up a sample post. Like I got an 800 pack. So I had like a big, huge box, and I took a cute picture of my kitchen with the yesterday with my dog, and was like, you know, who wants a 3-day experience? But it's mainly through like my Insta stories or my Facebook stories, or just me like sharing me using the product and somebody saying, hey, what are you doing? That's kind of how I seal it with samples.
I also talk about like getting out samples in your Facebook story or your Insta story?
What I'll do is every single day I make sure on my Insta story or my Facebook story, I show myself using the product. And it's not like, oh, you need to buy this. I just show my routine through my day. And if I'm mailing out, even if it's one sample, I take a picture of the package and I'm like, you know, heading to the post office, like sample on its way or whatever, and I'll tag whoever got it or just do that. And that's kind of how I do it, where I'm just like, who wants to snag one? Or I'll do like the polls on Instagram. Like when I got in the new Chic DFTs, I did a picture of those and I was like, oh my God, you know, the 2.0 ones, like they're so cute, they're rose gold, like who wants to snag one? So even if they're not like, hey, yeah, I want to pay, I don't know what you charge for samples. I charge 30 because my postage just went through the freaking roof. I'm not like, oh, hey, you know, do you want to buy a sample? It's just kind of the interest of them seeing me use the product daily, and then them seeing like, oh, she sends out samples. Or I'll do it still once in a while where I put up a sample post, but it's a lot just through me using. the product every single day, where so they're going to ask you what you're doing eventually. Like I'll even do like my shaker cup and me pouring the lifestyle mix in and saying like, ain't nobody got time for breakfast, but I don't even say like what it is. And they're like, oh, like what meal replacement do you use or what protein do you use? So they start from that, and I offer up 3-day samples first. So I'm like, hey, like if you want to try a 3-day sample, it's $30. I'll mail it right out. And I
so you right until like become a customer or that kind of stuff.
I mean, if they show interest and like they're like, hey, I want to like buy, like I want to get a pack, of course I'll send them. But for me, the sampling of it kind of seals the deal for me, where it get like, I think it makes them put value on the product. So I always say that because, you know, and I have so much value on it. Like I don't think for our full system it's overpriced whatsoever. I think it's a perfect price for everything, but people get like price shock value sometimes. So for me, when they try it, I'm like, you can try it for $30, you know, tell me how you feel and we'll go from there. It seals the deal for them because once they feel that good, like they put so much more value on it. And then I'm like, even if it's their first day and they're like, oh my God, I feel amazing. I'm like, look, it's 2-day shipping. Like if we put your order in for your pack, you'll have it before your 3-day sample is up. And you won't have to go a day without it. Because I'm always like, I can't go a day without it. Like, I know that you don't want to after you feel this good. And that's like huge for sealing the deal with me. Is that.
So you just talk about the 2-day shipping then with that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, because like I know that especially if they're reaching out to me, if I'm not like, oh, how you're doing? Like they message me first and I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what you gave me, but like it's amazing. I know that like they don't want to not feel like that. So that's how I close it with that at a good time.
Now, when someone says they have an issue with the price even after the 3-day mini, do you try to like maybe customize their packs for what they're getting, or do you go into like the referral program?
I customize.
Do you have customers that actually use the referral program?
No. I don't do like any free accounts ever. So I customize packs, and it's not that like I love the referral program, especially for us. And if it's somebody that like I know can get those 2 customers, I'll go for it. But I feel like it kind of sometimes leaves like a dead zone where like nobody does anything with it. So for me, I'd rather customize a pack. So I always start out with the 190. And if they're like, oh, I can't do that, I'm like, okay, like you can get the 150. I'm like, you're only gonna have shakes from Monday through Thursday, but you can still get all 3 products. So I kind of like go down the line, like 190, 150, and customize it that way. If they're like, because
the 190 would be the Thrive experience, not on auto ship, right?
I do the lifestyle pack plus DFT, I think.
Okay.
So it's a full month of everything for 190.
Yeah, that would be 150. Right?
For 2 boxes of shake, not 1.
Oh, yeah, 2 boxes. Okay.
Yeah, so that they have it Monday through Friday. I mean, Monday
through. Okay, there we go. All right.
But no, it confused. That's one thing that gets under my skin is the amount of shake boxes. I feel like I had that fight with somebody like 8
I have half a shake a day if I only have 1 box.
Yeah, so for me, what I do is I'm like, if you want to do the full month, we do the 190 pack. So it's 2 boxes of shake, 1 of capsules, 1 of DFT. And then if they're like, no, that's too expensive, I'm like, okay, we can do the 150 pack where you're only getting 1 box of shake, 1 capsule, 1 DFT, and you can just do your shake Monday through Thursday. So there's enough for the whole month rather than, because you can do the half a shake a day too. But that way I'm like, you know, because a lot of people on the weekends, they're out of their routine. They're not, you know, home for breakfast all the time. They're out doing stuff with their family. So I kind of do it that way. And I just bump down the packs until we find something that can be.
Now, what would be your next step if they said, okay, 150 is too much? Would you take out the DFTs, or like what 2 of the 3 do you think would be more important?
I think
definitely.
Personally, yeah. So for me, I would take out the DFT, but I kind of let them, especially if they try a 3-day sample, I let them tell me, I'm like, okay, well, what were your 2 favorite? Like, I want it to be on their terms. So I'll ask them, like, you know, what, because a lot of people like the DFT. It's cute. They like to wear it. They like the idea of it. So some people do want to keep that in. So I normally keep it capsules always. And then they can pick either or just to go back and forth. But I kind of leave it up to them in that matter. But yeah, I would personally take out the DFT.
That makes, now, what would you say to somebody who's not a day 1 thriver?
For me, I think I got lucky with this with a lot. I've only had a couple people really go through like the detox phase. And I preface with that always. So I kind of cover my own butt in a sense where when they get a sample, I'm like, look, you know, 2 out of 3 people feel amazing. And I'm like, and 1 out of 3 is detox. And I'm like, so you might feel crappy, you might feel fluey. I'm like, it's just because your body's not used to getting all those vitamins and nutrients, but you just got to stick with it. And I'm like, so we're going to see like what you are out of the 2 of 3 or 1 of 3. So I preface with it. So if it happens, they're not like, what the heck did you give me? Why do I feel like this? Like they know that it's just, okay, you got to get through that detox phase and then you're going to feel good. But I very, very rarely have that. And
okay,
also,
now feel the deal the same way though?
yeah.
Okay.
Normally it depends. Like if I have somebody, if like I had one girl who went through it really, really bad. And I actually sent her like a couple more days just because I wanted her to get through it. And then she felt great on day 4 and 5, I think. But I preface with it so they're not like shocked if they don't feel amazing. And also I ask about like their caffeine intake, kind of like what their day-to-day life is like prior to them taking the sample. So if they're like, I've never touched caffeine in my life, like, okay, we're just going to do 1 capsule and like half a shake. Like I kind of customize it and make sure for each person I'm truly like asking them, because I don't want somebody that's never had coffee to be like, okay, you just gave me crack. Like I'm on right now. So I ease them into it with their lifestyle. They're like me and they're like, I have like 4 cups of coffee a day. I'm like, go ahead, girlfriend. Like you're going to like it. So I truly try to be very intentional with every single person and asking them, you know, what their day-to-day life is and explain how they might feel, just like to cover my bases so that they feel comfortable.
Okay. That makes sense. Don't mind me. I'm just writing. So like I said, your Facebook is like on fire. I'm constantly going to your Facebook. I'm like, what's on posting today? What you doing today? How much stuff does she have going on today? So how do you best use, because you're mostly on Facebook. I mean, I think it's safe to say, how do you utilize your attraction marketing? Because we come from a spot where messaging 150 people a day was normal for us. And now you don't message barely at all. So how do you go from, you know, this to that, and still have people coming in and messaging you just based on like your posts? Like, how do you make sure, I guess?
Absolutely. So my biggest thing, and it wasn't easy. It was a very hard transition. It was a very like trying, where I truly had to dig deep, and figure out who the heck I was and like what I was doing this for. And like when you have to just wake up one day and you're like, okay, now I'm being authentic and I'm not copying and pasting. You're like, what do I do? Like I'll sign girls and they're like, okay, what do I do now? Like you don't have to do anything. Like, you know, because we always had that, we're like, we're not messaging people. What are we supposed to be doing? So for me, it was truly being myself, which not that I hadn't done it, you know, I had shared my life. People knew about me and my journey and what I had gone through, but it wasn't like the nitty-gritty, like day-to-day who I really am. And that's literally all I do is I share my life authentically. You know, I learned to not hide certain parts of my personality. I learned to hide the hard things I go through. And it doesn't come overnight. And it's not easy to be super authentic all the time, but I feel like it was.
I watched a live video, Katie Pineda, and she like dropped the F-bomb and she's like, that feels so good. She was like.
Exactly. For like her first 2 weeks of signing up, every time she's live, she's like, I cursed again. I'm so sorry. I'm like, go on with your bad self. Like whatever you need to do.
Mom's going to yell at me. But
yeah,
she's like,
exactly. So because we feel like we're doing something wrong, but that's what I had to do is like for the first time in my life, I had to wake up and just be myself. And that's so hard and we don't realize it. And that's why even when I do trainings with my girls and we did like a New Year training and, you know, they're like, what do we do? What do we do? Like, what should our game plan be? And I'm like, literally, if anything you do this year, all I want you to do is learn more about yourself and learn how to love yourself more, because that's what it all comes from. You know, we are behind an amazing compensation plan, an amazing product, an amazing company, but your brand is still you. You know, if you don't know you and you can't be you, it's going to be super hard to grow a business simply because you don't have your own brand. And that's what people are attracted to, is that, you know, when they buy the product or they sign up, yeah, they want all this great stuff, but they relate to me. So when I'm not messaging, I'm not doing those things. It's that, like I said, just for once in my life, I'm being authentic and I'm sharing truly who I am. Like even stuff that I didn't want to share, you know, and people will be like, oh, you know, like you dog on your past opportunity or you do this and that. And I'm like, no, I'm just being honest, because exactly what I feel, somebody else feels. And that's what it's all about, is it's being yourself and sharing, you know, what you're going through and how it's making you feel in your journey and your steps. Because like I said, all that person needs to do is see one post that relates it to them. You know, so all my posts are not about the business. It's about my life and what I've gone through and my dogs and my boyfriend and the crazy journey that we have here. But I'm me and I'm messy now and I'm not perfect. You know, I do lives in like a bun and a t-shirt, and like a year ago, you would have never caught me doing that. But it's just truly becoming yourself And when you start to share, you know, your real story and your real why and why you're doing this, and then you just find those people that have that same thing that relates to you, that's what explodes your business, you know. And that's why people join my team, is because they felt something I felt, you know, and you're like, oh my God, I'm not alone in that. You know, whether it was the past opportunity, whether it was a breakup, whether it was a friendship ending, like we all go through such similar things, but nobody talks about it. Like nobody talks about the ugly, nobody talks about the bad. So when I started doing that, it changed everything, you know, and people start to relate to you. So for me, that's what's been so huge. But with the products, it's easy. I just share my passion for it. Like I don't put a filter on. I am stupid, passionate, excited, like off my feet, and I don't ever pretend to be anything I'm not. Like when somebody's like, oh, well, like how does a duo work? And like, I'll give you my 2-second spiel, but like, I don't know. Like, I'm not good at stuff like that. Like, I don't know how to read up on stuff. I don't know science stuff. Like, I'm authentically me, where I'm like, I don't really know, but you're going to feel awesome on it. Like, I can send you a PDF and like, we can chat after that. Like, I'm not trying to be anybody but me. So that's my biggest thing, is if you can just try to wake up and be yourself and share your day and not try to ask yourself, you know, what should I post and blah, blah, blah. And my girls will do that, where they're like, I'm uninspired. Like, what do I post? And I'm like, put your phone down. I'm like, go live your life, go on a walk, go hug your daughter, like whatever you need to do it. And like, that's when those like things will come to you, you know, where you get to share your story and who you are. I can talk all night long.
That's what I've said. I said that to a few girls too that I was talking to the other day on my team. I said, don't post just to post, because, you know, I was in this mindset for so many years that I had to post like 7 times a day. And I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't posted in like a whole hour and a half. Like, what am I going to post next? And like, when you're thinking about, what should I post? You shouldn't.
Exactly.
Don't post until you feel it. Like, until you feel like I need to share this.
That's what I always tell my girls. I'm like, I would rather you post 1 quality post a day than do 4 that like don't. Yeah, like because it doesn't do anything. And I'll even get on myself where I'll feel that way too. Like yesterday, I only posted 1 time. I did a live opportunity event, but I only posted once, and I still like dog on myself. And I'm like, it's okay. You know, like it's okay that you're not posting all day, because, and I'm very like in touch where I'm like, I think the universe has our back, and what's supposed to happen is going to happen. And what's going to come to you is going to come to you. And if you're just putting in that intentional effort, that doesn't mean that you have to be posting all day. You know, that doesn't mean you have to be in 85 people's inbox. If you just wake up and intentionally live a good life, and you love on yourself and you love on others, and like you pour into your business, that's all it needs. And it's going to happen. And that's what's been such a huge transition for us, is just like taking a breath and being like, I'm going to be me, and I'm going to love this journey, and like, it's going to work, you know? And yeah, we still have a fire, and I still have a drive. I still work my butt off like crazy, but I don't like kill myself over it. And I don't try to just make a post to make a post. Cause like you said, it doesn't come off real, and it's not connecting. And I'll still do where I'm like, okay, Em, like you need to put your phone down for a minute and just like stop. And I'll even notice where if I like force it, like 5 minutes later, I delete it. So I'm like, that's not good. Like, it's not what I was feeling.
Dude, I'll totally, because I mean, I used to be on like the go mindset where I'm like, okay, copy, paste, this looks good, change a few words, make it sound like me, whatever. But now it's like, I've noticed I sit down and I take like 25 minutes to really pour myself into a post. And I erase a paragraph, and then I retype it, and then I change this and I retype it, and I really put myself into it. That reaches so many more people than just, oh, that post sounded cool, I'm gonna post that.
Exactly.
There's so many more people. Like, somebody had said it once, I don't remember who it was, but like, what you put into your post is what you're going to get out of your post. So if you're putting in a copy and paste, you're going to get a copy and pasted, you know, interest. But if you're pouring your heart into it, you're going to get interest from people who are also willing to pour their heart into it.
Exactly. And I'll even get on myself where I'll be like, oh, it's too long, or like you're saying too much. Cause I'll get going, and I'll type.
Yeah.
And I'll try to stop myself. Yeah. And I'm like, but no, like, you know, somebody needs to hear that. Like, for whatever reason I was put in my head, for whatever reason I wanted to type that, whether it's 3 paragraphs too long, or, you know, I feel like it's too lengthy for Facebook or the algorithm. Like, I don't even pay attention to that stuff anymore. I'm just like, I felt that, so I'm going to say it. And it's as simple as that. And that's what I'll post. And then you just hit that one person, or, you know, maybe my 9,000 other friends didn't need to see it, but that one did. And like, she can be your next runner, and you never know. You just have to literally speak from your heart and what you're feeling. And that's going to like get you so much more of a return from your social media than anything else ever will.
So now, you hear?
Yes. Hold
on. So obviously there's a fine line between being real and being negative. Where would you draw that line? I mean, yes, like you want to be real and say, hey, like I had a crappy day today, but you know, like this happened, or, you know, this went well in my business, or I have girls on my team doing this. And like, it's okay to talk about like bad days and like sad days and like be real, but like, where do you draw that line? I mean, obviously, no, like he said, she said, like climbing on people's back kind of stuff. But like, where do you draw the line between like being real and being raw and like just being downright like that should not be on Facebook?
Okay, so the way that I do it, and this is not always easy for me because, like I said, I'm red and I can pop off at like anything.
I will type something up and be like, no, Katie, you're better than that.
Yes, exactly. So, and I still have to catch myself. And that's what I think is super important that I always try to remind my team. That's why I'm transparent, is that like people get this idea that like, you know, because somebody is a certain rank or they've done this, that like we have it down pat. Like, no, I'm a hot mess and I have to delete stuff too. And I have to check myself and I have my bad days. And for me, what I teach my team is that whatever you're going through, you know, and because like I said, like, I want you to be real. I want you to share what you're going through. I want you to share what you feel because that may relate somebody to you. But what I always do is I don't do it in the moment. I wait later on. And the way that I try to explain it is that I share what I went through and I'll share what's going on and like my feelings on it, but I'll do it in a way so that if somebody's sitting across from me and they're going through the same thing, it helps them, if that makes sense. So, you know, somebody can go through the same thing, but maybe I got through that moment faster than they did, and maybe I realized something, and, you know, I learned a lesson from it. I try to make it positive for somebody else, even if it was negative for me. So even if it's something that happened, I'm like, okay, hey, how can I spin this to help somebody else or to relate to somebody else? So, you know, if I'm going through a bad day or, you know, somebody's crapping me or this and that, I'll talk about it, but my dog's just running at my door, sorry. I'll share like the lesson I got out of it, kind of, where like I have my real talks and I'll be sassy and I'll be nasty and whatever, but I'm never nasty. I don't want to say nasty because I'm not on Facebook. I'm real and I'm honest, but I put a positive spin on it to help other people so that people can relate to me and they feel it, but it takes them out of their negative mindset rather than feeding it. Because, you know, when you feel someone, you're like, oh, this person feels this, and you like trash talk and you get going, like, yeah, it can feel good that you relate to somebody, but that's toxic. That doesn't help anybody. So I try to put a positive spin on it and like pull somebody out of that place I was just in. That might not make any sense, but I always like try to put a lesson with it, or like if it's a real talk, you know, to be honest and say, I feel this, this, and this, but like, hey, just take a breath. Like, it'll be okay. Like, even if I had a really bad day with like my depression or anxiety, you know, I'll talk about it and say, it's okay to have your bad days. It's okay to do this. But at the end, I'm like, hey, like, you're a badass, you're going to get through it. You know, like, I always turn around to make sure that it's helping somebody else, even if it was like something crappy or negative for me.
Right.
If that makes sense at all.
No, it totally made sense. I was just like processing it. So what do you think? I know some of us are familiar with like the 80-20 rule with like building your business. It was always like, you know, 80% of you should be out bringing in, you know, new people, new customers, new promoters, and 20% of you should be pouring into your team. With this business, I know mass recruiting is not necessary. It's not required. So do you still follow that 80-20? Like, enroll as many people as you can. But like now, I mean, you don't need that many people to reach the top rank in this company. Like, all you really need is some solid runners. Do you still focus that much on recruitment?
So I am definitely more quality over quantity, 100% always now. And it was kind of a transition because, and I'll be honest, because I'm sure you might have felt this way too. You know, when I first got in, things happened really fast. So I didn't have time to think about it. Like, at that point, I was just enrolling. And I was like pouring into who I had and helping getting VIPs. But I didn't really step into my leadership yet. And when I was starting to, and when my team got really big, you know, I was afraid to even start my own team page. Because I was like, you know, we were taught in our past business, like, you don't do that, and that takes away from your business and this and that, and, you know, you shouldn't do that. And I actually had a girl I enrolled talk to me, and she's like, Em, like, just do what feels right. You know, if you're going into it in the right mindset and you're going in it to lead people and help people, even if it's not good for everyone, like, you're helping somebody. Like, if you come in it with true intentions, it's helping. So I spend a ton of time pouring into my team. Not to say that I live on my team page or, you know, I live in my chats. Like, I even have my own chats muted because I think my phone would vibrate to Antarctica off the table if I left it on all day. But I have my time with my business. I have my time with my IPAs every day where I make sure that, you know, I'm doing it and I'm enrolling and I'm pouring into my social media, not just my team. But also I think that it's so important like the love that I have for my girls and the team environment for so many of us is so different from what we had before. And I cherish the heck out of it. Like I love my team so much that anything I learn or I feel like I gather or I gain, like I pour it right into them. So even if I posted my team page 3 times that day and I feel something else, like I'm going to post it. Like I feel like with this business, I'm so like rules out the door. Like I don't care. I do whatever feels right. I do what feels good. So if one day I don't want to do a training with my team or, I'm not feeling inspired or I'm not feeling like uppity, I won't post to my team page, or I won't pour into them that much just because I'm not in the right place. But I'll still work my business. It's a balance of it. I don't even know if I can properly answer this, but I do what feels right. So whenever I feel like my team needs to be poured into, I'm there for them and I'm helping to train them and grow them in anything I learn, I teach them. But every single day I do make sure that I am spending a chunk of my day focused on my business. I have to get my IPAs done because for me, it's like a law of attraction thing where if I'm not doing it, I don't think they're going to do it either. Like I think that's just the way the universe works. That if I'm like, okay, well, I didn't post it, I didn't build any relationships or I didn't do this or that, I can't expect anybody else to do it. So I hold myself super accountable while still, like I still hold leader and mentor as my top role. Like that's my job. Like that's what matters to me is pouring into them and loving them. But my side gig is that I have to still hold myself accountable and run my business every single day.
Now, when you work your business, like do you have designated times where like, okay, like I'm setting my phone down, I'm going to do this and like, that's it. Cause like, I think a lot of us get stuck in that mindset. We're like, okay, if I don't respond to this person right now, I'm going to lose them or they're going to go somewhere else or they're going to find somebody else. And then I just lost that, potential customer promoter. Do you worry about that or do you just have like a designated time where you get back to all your messages?
It's a learning curve and a learning process because, like we've all felt like I used to be so afraid it would crumble and that like I would like literally the world would implode if like I put my phone down. And I'm always transparent. So like that was even an issue in my relationship where he would say something, I'd be like, wait, like I always put my hand up because I was always answering a message. I'm like, you can't do that. You have to have that balance where it like, you have to trust in it that like I always said, if it's meant to you, if it's coming to you, it's going to come to you, and you don't have to be attached to your phone. You don't have to, like I used to think, I'm like, okay, like I need to get up at 6 a.m. and I need to do this, I need to do that. I'm like, I'm not a morning person. I don't want to wake up at 6 a.m. Like I work from home for a reason. So I kind of had to teach myself that it's okay to step away because I think that that's when your business truly does grow the most is when you're out living your life. Like I said, like when you can't think of a post, like get out and get inspired, like live your actual life with people in your life and put your phone down. That's when the best stuff comes to you. And for me, I even notice like if I'm stressing out, I'm like, oh, volume this or that. And I put my phone down for an hour. It's like everything skyrockets because it's when you take a breath and you calm down, you kind of get your head straight. And you're like, it's still going to grow. Like we have to trust in that residual income aspect of it and in the momentum of this company that, hold yourself accountable and get it done, but live your life, because if you're not living your life, what's your story? What do people have to relate to? Because, nobody can relate to somebody that sits on their phone 24/7. Nobody wants that. Like that's not a business people want to go into. So I've had to teach myself to learn to put my phone down and put it away. And literally for Valentine's Day, he got me a gift. I did this like floating thing. And I'm like, you would get me this gift where I was locked in a pod for an hour with I physically couldn't have my phone because we have to learn to step away. You have to trust in it that like, if that person was meant for your team, they're not going to not join you because you put your phone down for an hour to have dinner with your family. If they're truly meant for your team and they're meant for you to be their mentor, their leader, or that customer's meant to be with you, that message will still be there. So definitely hold yourself accountable and do your IPAs and make sure you're working your business, but live your life. Be with the people that are actually around you. Put down your phone at certain times, like set business hours if you want to. Like I try it, like if I don't have a training normally, I'm contradicting myself, but like it's 7 o'clock at night, I'll put my phone down. It's okay. I can answer them in the morning. And I also feel like people kind of like respect that more, where if somebody messages me and I answer them in 30 seconds, they're like, well, I can't do that. Like I don't have time to get back to messages that fast. It's more real time where you just got to live your life and trust in it. And, when you have the dedicated time, to pour into it and be present, but like put it down and live your life. And I think that has changed my business tenfold, is just stepping away too.
Yeah, for sure. I always felt glued to my phone. Like I felt like if I had blinked and I didn't respond, like I was going to have like something crumble, and it was just like nerve wracking. So those are the only questions that I had, but there are other people on here who didn't ask any questions before. So if anybody has any feel free to like unmute yourself, maybe.
I'm an open book. Don't be nervous.
When I told him, I was like, don't be shy. I was like, she is so just like.
Yeah, I don't care.
It was like, some people, you know, need the whole, it's okay, I'll hold your hand, we'll get it done. And I'm like, I'm the kind of person where I'm like, you need to get your stuff together. Like, that's how I take that. So like, I love your realness. And like, that's why.
Yeah, because everybody needs different stuff. And that's why like I like to do trainings like this too. Because even on my own team, like I said, I'm very red. But then I have, you know, one of my top leaders is Katie. And she'll be red when she gets mad, but then she apologizes like 20 minutes later because she can't handle it. But she's very loving. So if somebody comes to me and I'm like, oh, they need me to be nice, like I'll send them her way. Like you have to kind of know how to read like who needs what. And that's a huge part of, you know, being in businesses like this, not only in leadership, but even like with your potentials, like you kind of have to learn how to be the person they need. And even if that means like, you know, toning it down a little bit or amping it up, like, and you also have to recognize what you need. You know, so like if you need a leader that's in your face and they're like, yo, we need to go. Like we need to hit the ground running. Or if, you know, you're somebody that needs to have a freak out once a week and them to be like, I still love you. You're okay. You're going to make it. Like know what you need and don't be afraid to ask for it from your leader because that's huge. Like we never know what you need unless you just say it. And then we'll give it to you. Like I can be anybody you need me to be on my team. I'm like, just tell me what you need and I'm there. So never be afraid to speak up about that either.
So I was like, I said, pour into me. Tell me everything. So does anybody have questions? Nobody.
Hey, I have a question. Can you hear me?
Brittany, I saw you. I was like, I don't breathe.
You know me and my questions. I was like trying not to ask because I haven't even showered today. But what do you say to people on your team that are just really struggling to get out 3-day minis or to sign customers? What do you say to those people who just feel like this isn't for them?
Okay, so I kind of go through like a process. And normally when somebody reaches out and they're like, you know, hey, I can't sign anybody, nobody's buying samples, this or that. Normally the first thing I do is, because like I said, I'm very into like the universe and law of attraction, all that. So I kind of always have a talk with them about the way they're talking about their business. First of all, because I truly believe like you wake up, you know, I'm not signing anyone, I'm not doing this and that. Like, I don't think you're going to sign anyone. So I kind of talk to them about mindset first. And I'm like, you know, what can we talk about lovingly about your business? You know, what can we talk about with affirmations or what you're going to say to yourself? And some people laugh at it, some people don't believe in it. But I mean, I have a girl on my team that didn't sign anybody for 3 months. And then all of a sudden she started saying affirmations every morning. And she was like, you know, I'm going to sign a customer. Like the universe is sending people my way that need me. And like literally that girl is like signing customers like crazy. So I kind of do the mental talk with them first where I'm like, okay, what do we need to work on, you know, in here? Like, where's your mindset? What are you doing for self-development? Like, how can we grow you? And I do that. But then I also step into the leadership role where I'm like, you know, hey, can I look at your page? You know, can I look at your Instagram or Facebook? Like, can we tweak something? Can we, you know, change the way you're posting? What do you need more of, less of? And not that I'm like, oh, like you're posting wrong, but I'm very honest where I'm like, you know, you can do what you want. It's your business, but this is what I would change. Because like, I want them to have the best training and help they can. So I do the mindset talk. I'll look at their social media and I'll help them. I'll ask them if they're adding people to their network, because that's huge. You know, if you're not adding people on, if you're not growing those relationships, you're not getting new people, it can't really grow. So we kind of go through that, you know, maybe do a one-on-one Zoom with them, talk to them about what they can change, what their IPAs are, what they're doing daily. But a lot of it's mindset and, you know, telling them to work on them and trust in it and do this and that. You know, we can always tweak stuff, but so much of it is mindset. With the way you're talking to yourself, the way you're talking about your business and believing in it. And that's mainly what I do. So it's mindset, and then I'll check their social medias. I'll talk about their IPAs, and I'll suggest things for them to add in. And then we'll go from there. I mean, there will always be people that, you know, continually come back like that. And not that I give up on people ever, but if they say like, hey, I don't think it's for me, like I completely respect that. Like maybe it's not for you then. And, you know, that's not me being rude or being like, you know, I don't want you on the team. I want you on the team no matter what. But if you truly don't think it's for you, it's not going to work for you right now anyways. You know, and I'll even do that with potentials where, you know, they'll be like, oh, it's just not my time. Like, I don't know. And they go back and forth. And I'm like, that's fine. You know, maybe it's not your time. Most of the time they're like, well, wait, like, and it kind of like is reverse psychology where then they'll join anyways. And not that I'm trying to be offensive, but I let them have their way. You know, if it's not your time, it's not your time. That's fine, because it's somebody else's time. And that's who I want to pour into. So help them and love them, but don't get stuck in like trying to convince them of it, especially if they've already signed up. Know that maybe it's not for them at that time. Love them through the process, but also don't spin your wheels and like exhaust yourself trying to make it happen when they're not going to make it happen type of thing.
Okay. One more question. Okay, what do you say to people that say they're not good with words? Because words are like, if I'm not good with something like I'm trying to say, I'll just do a live video and talk about it. But for people who are not good at words, like, what do you say to those people?
For them, like when they're talking to potentials, kind of?
No, like to post. I mean, they're like, well, I don't know what to post. And I'm like, well, just be yourself and just post how you feel. And people just really have a hard time with that.
So, okay, for me, that is a complete like self-development thing. And that's what I always say is that if you don't wake up like with your feet hitting the ground, like that inspired fire momentum, you haven't peeled back enough layers, and I truly do believe that as we go on, I think that our why changes. I think our story changes, our journey changes. But for the people that are like, I just don't know what to post, it's that passion. Like you have to dig deeper and find it, whether it's about the products, whether it's about your story or your why. I tell them they have to dig into themselves. I'm like, you have to learn more about you. Like, why the heck are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Like, how do the products make you feel? What are you doing this for? Like, they have to dig so much deeper, where when you're inspired, like, I don't ever wake up and I'm like, oh, what do I post? Like, I just feel something and I type it and I say it because I'm inspired and because I'm on fire, simply because I'm so obsessed with this opportunity in the way that I feel, and my why is so big that like nothing can stop that. So for me, that's a complete like 180 back on them. And I'm like, what can we do to dig deeper for you to love on you and like really get to your why? Like, where is that inspiration? Where is that fire? Are you taking your products every day? Are you doing your self-development? Like, I make them dig deeper. And, even if they're not good with words, I think that once you kind of get to that point, even if you don't think you sound good, like you still know what to say because you feel inspired. So whether that's them doing self-development, whether they need to get on a training and like watch a previous training with somebody firing them up, whatever it may be for them, I think that's an internal thing. And like you said, if going live is maybe easier for them to talk, but it's an inspiration thing where they have to dig deeper in them. And like, if somebody does something, I'll straight out just be like, okay, like, why are you doing this? Like I make them kind of reverse it and dig in. And I'm like, because you've got to have something to talk about. You have to be inspired. You have to share your life. If you can't wake up and share your life, something's not right there. Like, you're not digging deep enough to just be able to wake up and show your day. So if that answers your question.
Yeah, it definitely does. Because so many people I feel like have such a problem with words. And I'm like, well, just talk about how you feel. But people just don't get it. So yeah,
like someone like you and I, we're just like, okay, like this is how I'm feeling. And we're just going to throw it out there. But some people are like,
Well, and like, it's not an easy like transition. That even kind of has to do with what I said about being authentic and like making that transition. Is it's not easy, but it literally, like, and I always say this, and my team is probably like wants to strangle me when I say the word self-development, but like that's what it's from. Like, as you grow as a person and you learn more about yourself and you learn to love yourself more and like you get yourself more, it's so much easier to be yourself. Because like I said, a year ago, I wouldn't have gone live without makeup on. I wouldn't have made the statuses I make, talking the way I talk. Like, I'm a hot mess, but I share that and I'm funny and, I have funny ways I talk and my quirks and this and that. And that makes me me. So it's growing into yourself, and it's okay if it's not overnight for them. Like, they have to understand it's a process, and just start little by little, just share how you're feeling the product. Why are you doing this? What is your story? Share your day and like start with that. And as they grow, it becomes easier and easier to wake up and just be truly yourself on social media. Anybody else?
Shauna said, I had it. She said, do you use the funnel method? I know you said that you're not crazy about like free customer accounts, but when you send somebody a mini, do you make them create a free customer account?
No, I don't. I think that it's because of, I know that all teams do it differently. My team is just not a team that does free accounts, so I never do that ever. I think the only free accounts I've ever made is if it was a promoter and like I knew that day we were getting their 2 referrals in. Like, I worked with them and we were like, okay, we have your 2 people, we're going to get you in. Because like I said, I feel like they kind of just sit there. So for my minis, no. I seal the deal myself, and like, I send a thank you card in it. I make them get in contact. I'm in constant contact, so I don't ever make them make a free account. I could see how it's beneficial. It's just not something that I have ever personally done. Like even when we had that whole thing where they were like, oh, you know, you have to make this many free accounts, like for whatever like bonus it was. Like I didn't even do that. Like I suck at free accounts. So don't ask me for help.
Like $2 in credits for every account you made. Yeah. I mean, I did it, and I had a girl on my team who she set up like a box for like emails and everything. And then she did those, and she got like $400 and something in free credits. So I mean, that worked out for sure. I would definitely not complain with that. But yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it takes a certain kind of. Can you stop turning them?
Okay.
And I think that it's a certain kind of person, and that's what I mean. Like, if it's a promoter that I know is going to get in and get those people, I do it with them. But if not, I feel like it's not only benefiting, it's not benefiting them. You know, it's not helping anybody. Like, I just want to make sure I set them up properly. And for me, it works the best without free accounts and just me staying in constant contact with them, sealing the deal.
Okay, that makes sense. Does anybody else have any questions?
I have one more. I'm done. I promise.
She's lying.
Okay. How do you feel about free promoters? Because I feel like, well, I'm not going to tell you like how I feel, but how do you feel about like people that
tell me, but I'm not going to tell you.
Like, what do you, I mean, because, you know, I have so many people that, like, I had a girl signed up tonight, and she's like, I'm so excited that it's free. And I was like, well, I don't even know where you heard that from. Like, how do you know it's free? Because really, it shouldn't be. You don't have samples. You're not using the products. Like, how do you go about telling people? And then, like, a lot of people on my team are having that issue, you know, well, this girl just signed up and she didn't buy her kit. So do you really work with those people that don't buy kits, or do you kind of just wait till they buy their kit, or how do you go about that?
Okay, so, and like, I never want to be, because like I said, I don't know how other teams do it. So like, if you guys work free accounts and it works, like, all power to you. But for me, they don't work. Free account is like the word Voldemort on my team. Like, we don't use it. We don't talk about it. We don't do it because for me, like you said, they're not on the products. You know, for me, that's so huge. And I think that drives everything in our success and in our business. So when it's somebody that isn't, hold on, I'm trying to hear. Can you guys hear me? I feel like it doesn't ever go anywhere. It wants to go here. Can you hear me? Hold on. Can you guys hear me? Am I better? Okay, sorry. I just had to mute you, Brittany. So if you're talking, unmute yourself. For me, I need them on the product. I need it. I need you to feel the product. I need you to be on the product. And for me, when somebody's not on the product, and I don't mean this something, it's almost like it's like a leech, and they suck the life out of you just because they don't get it. So it arouses so many more questions and so many more this and that because it's not clicking. Because for me, when you take the product, you're like, okay, I get it. Like, I get why you run. I get why you just want people on this product because of the way you feel. So, like I said, if I have somebody and I'm like, okay, we're going to do you a free account. The only way I do that is if I'm like, we're getting your 2 customers in today. Like, we're getting, because not only it's hard for your VIPs then because you have to like restart over because it doesn't count for 2 customers. I only do it if like we know you have those 2 referrals and we're doing it. Otherwise, like, I'm waiting until you get paid and we have money to do it. Because, like I said, I don't feel like that's setting them up for success or for me. But then again, like, you know, we have girls that are sidelines that are 12Ks that started on free accounts. Like, I just think it takes a certain person who can get it without buying the kit. But it is so important to me. Like, I don't ever sign free accounts just because, like you said, it's hard. You're not on the product. You don't know how you feel. You can't sell samples. Like, I don't think you can sell a product you're not using. So for me, I don't advertise it. I don't talk about it. And anybody had that on one, I haven't had anyone really go super far, and it is kind of draining because it's job times 2 that trying to train it would help them. It's not helpful for anybody that I've experienced.
Okay, that's kind of how I felt about it too. And I've had so many people they get on and they sign up and they're like, oh, I just signed up for free. And I'm like, no, we're going to go buy your kit. So I didn't know like kind of how to go about that. But okay, that answered.
No, I'm completely like, okay, but that doesn't do anything. Like, I don't ever send anybody on my website unless like they're ready to purchase and like know about the kits and they're good to go. Because otherwise, I'm like, you're not qualified and active. You don't have your products. Like, we have to I make sure the ball is rolling. Not just because like a kit gets me going. I don't care about that. It's because you need to know the product. So I don't ever like my website's not out there. They're not on it unless they're buying a kit. At least for my.
Okay.
If I hear it's because my phone's on 6% and it's plugged in, but it's not working.
It's okay.
Anyways, it's recorded, so I'm just like charge my phone and get back on. Does anybody else have any questions? Because we are coming up like on an hour, so I don't want to. Because Em has a busy, fancy life in her floating pod. No. Was that fun?
My Friday night in my pajamas. I'm very fancy.
Yeah, right. It's okay. I've been like in and out of the hospital. I have 2 sisters with babies, so I'm just like back and forth, back and forth. Does anybody else have any questions, or are we good? Brittany said she's done. She'll me right after. I'm like, hey, what did she say about this? Okay, so if nobody has any questions, thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah. Nobody else has any questions. Okay. So I guess that's it. But thank you again. I really appreciate it. And do you end it or like I end it?
Yeah, I can hop it on right
Thank
now.
you so much. This was very helpful.
I will send it to you. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.